गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। एंड वी गोना टॉक ऑफ ट्रम्प एंड पुतिन। देयर नो डील इन अलास्का एंड I'm not interested whether they do a deal or not, but I'm more interested in what's the fallout for India. And that's going to be the thrust of what I'm going to talk today. Right? Let's be very clear. No deal. And there's no deal. And now people are saying, Trump went to Alaska to get a deal with Putin for a ceasefire. That's not worked. Now they're looking at let's see how to finish the war. You see outflow from the American media. They said, look, Trump has been trumped. Putin has just walked away with the whole story. Okay, people have said, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger has said, yeah, you looked like a wet noodle, a dumb noodle. So Trump has messed it, but Trump claims he's won, right? So that's the thing. But let's look at what's going to happen there next. Let me explain. I mean, the way I've understood it, and then we will get into the main thing. What is it there for us? Because a lot of it was riding for us secondary sanctions, 25%. At the outset, that's gone. But let's talk of what's happened. What has Trump said at the end? We don't have a deal, but we've agreed on many issues. So there are issues which we have to talk. Now it's up to Zelensky and Trump and Putin to sit across the table and talk. And that's fine. And he said, I'm letting them do it. Now Europe is going to talk. So Zelensky is coming to Trump day after tomorrow. Going to talk. Europe will come. Some talk will happen. Maybe some other meet will happen. So the whole thing is postponed to another day, as far as Trump is concerned. But look at it from the Russian point of view. Russia has just walked off with whatever it wanted. Putin has just walked off with whatever he's wanted. He's very clearly said, look, we need peace. But whatever peace, how to draw down on this war will be only if Russian conditions are met. That's the gist of the whole story. Right. And he said, look, my concern should be met. Russian concern should be met. Then he's made a very, very strategic ploy, which not many people are talking of. He's made that ploy of connect between Russia and USA, two great neighbors. He went to the, cemetery there, memorial there, laid flowers on Russian soldiers who have been buried in Alaska, all that, and went back. So he has projected a different kind of a Russia-US relationship to everyone. And he says, we'll deal with that. Hey, you're a great guy. Finish it off. I'm all for peace. That's important. Oh, when you look at the Americans, what I used to say earlier, when Trump took over, is coming true now. I used to say, look, somehow Trump wants to finish this war. He's not interested in Ukraine. It doesn't matter. He wants to finish this war, get Russia over to his side, or at least be neutral in handling China. And in the process, give something to Ukraine, give something to Europe. That's his focus. India is not his focus. Let's be very clear. Now it's turning out only to be a pressure point. But he's messed up India is a different thing. We'll talk about it. Because today's talk is not about Russia, Ukraine, and this thing. That can keep going on. They can keep fighting till the dogs come home or go wherever they have to. I'm more interested in India, and that's what I'm going to talk of today. Later. So that's the US angle. Putin has given no game away. Nothing. He's gone there with a very clear idea. He set the agenda, saying, right, and virtually saying, look, there are two main conditions. Territorial, I'm not going to give up anything. Number two, NATO will not be in Ukraine. And he's restated that and gone back. And he said, we should come. I'm prepared to work within these confines to wherever you want. Moreover, there's a red corner notice that he's a, he should be arrested when he goes into this, that, all that nonsense is gone. He's landed in Alaska. And this red corner notice, Interpol notice, which was given out UN and all that, as a war criminal, and he should be arrested if he goes out of Russia. All that is finished. So he's gone back smelling roses. So in my way of looking at it, Putin has played a master hand, and Trump has duffed it. That's the way I look at it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's damn good for me. But like I said, I'm not too bothered about what's happening. So let's get into our subject proper. What is my subject? What is my talk about? What is my concern? This is the views from New York Times. It says, Washington Post, Trump-Putin summit began with red carpet, ended early in a sober exit. So they're not, no deal, no consequence for Putin. That's what they say. Trump threatened Putin with severe consequences if the thing doesn't end well. No consequences. Taco has happened because Putin has not given in, and Trump could not enforce anything on him. There was no deal, and Trump himself said there's no deal till there's no deal. But none of the consequences which Trump promised to put or threatened to put on Putin have been put. Very important, because if you are not putting sanctions on Russia to stop the war, how the hell can you put sanctions on India not to buy oil from Russia to stop the war? To that extent, the secondary sanctions, I think, have gone flat. Okay. This is, again, New York Times, I think it says Trump rolled out the red carpet, he didn't get a peace deal. So the peace deal is not there. What is there is not even a ceasefire deal. What is there is a framework how to take it forward. Not even a framework, a broad understanding that it should be taken forward, a renewal of the whole thing. Whether that will result in a peace deal or not, God knows. If it has to result in a peace deal, Europe and Ukraine have to give up a hell of a lot. And I think, frankly, USA is fed up of this whole story. In this, I support Trump. One thing where I support Trump is this. Trump has this fundamental idea to stop this whole story. Why? His motivations are different. Okay. His motivations to stop this whole story are different. It's personal gain, minerals and all that. Because all the minerals which are there in Ukraine, half of it is in Russia. So unless he has a deal with Russia, he can't mine them. But be that as it may, if this war comes to an end, the eastward expansion of NATO will stop forever. And certain things will start getting normalized in life. And if that happens, there will be a good fallout for many. In fact, for us also. We are back in the game then. It's not that we are not been in the game, but we are back in the game. Okay. Right. Now let me show you a few clips, because unless we see these clips, you will also not understand as to exactly what happened. Okay. The first clip is this.
He said before the interview, he said, in 2 minutes, I will know. I watched very closely when you met him.
1 minute. Yeah, I have to remove. Yeah, now we'll get it. This is the interview given to Fox News after the event, right? Not before. Before there's so many, but this is after. And Trump speaking. Have a look at it.
He said before the interview, he said, in 2 minutes, I will know. I watched very closely when you met him on the red carpet after both your planes landed. What vibe did you get in 2 minutes?
Well, I always had a great relationship with President Putin, and we would have done great things together in terms of, their land is incredible. The rare earth, the oil, gas, everything, it's incredible. It's the largest piece of land in the world as a nation by far. I think they have 11 time zones, if you can believe it. That's big stuff. But we would have done a lot of great things, but we had the Russia hoax, which stopped us from doing that. We would have done so great, but we had one of the great hoaxes. I mean, there were others, like the election itself, as you know, as you covered better than anyone. But it was a rigged election and a horrible thing that took place in 2020. But we would have had a great relationship, but we did amazingly well, considering, he would look and see what happened. He would think we're crazy, with the made-up Russia hoax. So we had something very important, and we had a very good meeting today, but we'll see. I mean, it's, you have to get a deal. We agreed on a lot of points. I want to see people stop dying in Ukraine, and that's what's happening. We're losing 5, 6, 7,000. They're Russians, mostly Russians, and they're Ukrainian soldiers. There's some people dying in cities and towns where they're trying to blow up missile manufacturers and other things in some cities. I don't know if you know what's going on there, but there are a lot of people dying. And if we can end that war, it would be very good. And I was very happy to hear him say, if I was president, that war would have never happened.
So these are the things he said. He says, I'm happy with the meeting. The rest of America is saying they're not happy with the meeting, but Trump says he's pretty happy with the meeting, that there's a way forward. And the fact that Russia is a hoax, that the deep state in USA wanted NATO to expand eastwards, he's turning that on its head. That's fine. I mean, that's the thing. So he's happy. So what if he's happy? If he's happy, there are no sanctions on Putin. So if there are no sanctions on Putin, there's no reason for sanctions on India. And he said that in as many words in this next clip, which I'm going to show. Let me first remove this. Yeah, I'll show this and have a look at it.
Here about the consequences for Vladimir Putin being severe. I found that interesting. Severe would be defined by me. India doesn't buy your oil. The European Union won't buy it. And why in the back of my head was I thinking, wait a minute, Donald Trump just delayed a possible increase in tariffs on China. Why do I think that probably President Trump was thinking ahead that maybe if you had to, that would have been part of the consequences?
Well, because of what happened today, I think I don't have to think about that. Now, I may have to think about it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, but we don't have to think about that right now. I think the meeting went very well.
So he's very clearly said, I don't have to think about secondary tariffs. So in my opinion, it's very safe to say the secondary tariffs are off the table at this point of time. So India is stuck with 25% tariffs. That's where we are. Let's be very clear. Now, is everything lost? No, it's not lost. So, because trade negotiations are still on, the deal can come through. In fact, if anything, there is reason for the negotiation team to come from USA to India and negotiate. And if you can get a deal through, for all you know, we might be back to 15%. In which case, everything is normal. I mean, from a trade point of view. Other points of view, I'll discuss. Right? So, this has given us a ray of hope. And more importantly, the very interesting thing, again, after this whole thing, he has gone back. Trump has gone back to Europe and Zelensky and Ukraine, and he's had a word with them, and he's put it out in Truth Social. So let's see that. What has he put out in Truth Social? 1 minute. Yeah. He's put this out in Truth Social. He says, a great and successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well. So he's happy with it. As did a late night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to directly go to a peace agreement. So now there's no more ceasefire. They're now looking at a peace agreement. That's the important, variation in this whole story, right? Which would end the war and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to DC, the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially millions of lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that's what he's come out with. So now he's looking at something bigger if he can. And the Nobel Prize is still on the cards for him. I mean, the way he looks at it. It's a different thing. A lot of people in America think that Putin walked away with whatever he wanted, and Trump lost. But Trump is playing a different story. Putin is playing a different story. As far as I'm concerned, at this point of time, my assessment is that look, those tariffs are off the table. The secondary tariffs. So door has opened. One has to be patient. That's what I said. But certain things with USA have changed. On that, I have not had a doubt at all. I have absolutely no issue. So let's discuss the tariffs business and all that. I went into the details. What are the Russian exports to other countries? You know why? Why I said this? If things don't go back, he'll get back to tariffs. Trump, you have to be very clear-headed what you're talking of. So if things don't go as per him, he has to pressurize Russia. Then he will get back to tariff it. Whom will he tariff? Either China or India. He's already had a tariff threat over India. And if by end of the month, if the deal doesn't close, he'll put the secondary sanction on us. So I'm going to put some figures in perspective so that all of us understand what we are talking of, what is involved in it. Okay. Now you look at this. This is the export of oils. This is the export of oils to various countries or petroleum products, petroleum and petroleum products. If you see, China is max at $129 billion. Okay. Then India follows at $66 billion. And then these are all EU. EU is almost about $60 billion. And Turkey. Now, Turkey plus EU plus other countries, with Japan included, okay, will virtually work to China. Why is he only fingering India? He could have tariffed China. Why didn't he tariff Turkey, which is a NATO country? Why didn't he tariff US, EU? All EU countries are Russia pidit. Na? They're all the ones who are most affected by the Ukraine war. They are the ones who could have just said, no, I will take nothing from Russia and slam down on their expenditures and revenue, oil revenues. They could have done it. They didn't do it. Why? So this smacks completely, of double standards. But be that as it may, it indicates something to us. I'll get back to that a little. So their crude petroleum is 122 billion, 52 refined petroleum. They also export gold. They also export petroleum gas, coal, a lot of things they export. And everyone is happily buying. I'm not right. Now, this is another interesting thing. Wheat. They export a lot of wheat. Who buys wheat? Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. These are all friends of USA. Why can't they be told? So don't buy. Why is he singled out India only? So the fact comes is that he singled out India because of Pakistan. He singled out India because India didn't give him the man. He expected Modi just to go and request him, yaar, mere ko kuch madad de do. Mr. Modi didn't do. Mr. Modi didn't acknowledge that this thing. So it's personal between India and Trump. It's personal between India and Trump. But what has happened in this period, since he made it personal and the secondary sanctions came up and all these other things, there's a blowback within America. It says, why are you telling India? India is your linchpin of your containment of China strategy. You lost them. And we'll talk of that also. You lost them. So he's messed it up big time in this manner. I feel he's messed it up. What options are there for India is a different thing. It's a very complicated thing as it is. It's a new paradigm for India which has opened up. But today's paradigm, what we are talking is slightly better in hope than yesterday's paradigm. Okay. Now let's look at it. I'm putting this in a picture again to everyone so that people understand the double standards of Mr. Trump against India. I'm driving a different point now. Why? With this kind of double standards which Trump has shown against India, can India trust USA? It can't. That's where I'm getting at. And that's my whole problem with this. I mean, whatever happens, like I said, between Putin and Ukraine is of supreme irrelevance to me. Whether NATO expands eastwards, westwards, I am completely with our external affairs minister. This is not our war. Neither did we get into it. You look at this graph which I'm showing to you. Let me make it bigger so that you people understand. Look, US and Russia still trade. Exports to USA is $595 million, half a billion. And another half a billion is imported. So why can't they stop? They've not even stopped one naya paisa of that trade. They expect India to stop. Okay, look at this. Japan, an ally of USA, exports to Russia 2.6 billion, imports 7.3 billion oil. Why don't they stop Japan? Why haven't they put secondary sanctions on Japan? Why only India? I'll keep asking this question because I'm driving home a point. Turkey. Turkey exports 10 billion to Russia and imports 31 billion, all oil from Russia. Then look at China. 129 billion import from Russia, oil. So if this is the kind of export which is happening, right? Why is India being singled out? So there's a problem which Trump or USA has with India. And Trump sanctions are only what shall I say, a way out or a lame excuse. He's trying to say, okay, I'll now squeeze India, that is the easy way of doing things. He is mistaken. That yesterday our Prime Minister has very clearly said, very, very clearly has enunciated to the whole world that he is not going to compromise, and we discussed it today morning with Sandeep Punithan, and now I'm very clear about it. And now Farid Zakaria has come out in Washington Post with a proper opinion piece. He says this is Trump's biggest foreign policy mistake. I go with him. Look, I don't agree with Farid Zakaria on many issues. But when you go through the US press, the US media, I picked Farid Zakaria's piece only because it's easily available and he's well known to most. But if you go across everything into their press, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, who said he's called Trump a damp noodle. That clip is there, I didn't take it. I mean, pretty straight. Okay. But if you go across everyone, whether it is even Condoleezza Rice, Condoleezza Rice was a complete anti-India, pro-Pakistani NSA when she was there, long back. Right? Even she said, what are you doing? Why are you losing India out? So I think USA has made a major mistake by dealing with the way they dealt with India. And this won't reverse. And let me also explain. I mean, the last paragraph, these are the last two paragraphs of what Farid Zakaria has written. He said, even if Trump reverses course, the damage has been done. This is coming from Washington Post, which is Qatar anti-India. from Farid Zakaria, who's almost a left, many people call him a communist. He says Indians believe that the United States has shown its true colors. He's right. He's right. We've always had the sinking feeling that ठीक है यार. So what if let bygones be bygones? Let's go ahead. Because we also don't have a choice, no, to deal with China. So it's shown its true colors, its unreliability, its unwillingness, or its willingness to treat its friends badly. They will understandably feel that to hedge their bets, they need to stay close to Russia and even make amends with China, and that's on the cards now. Unfortunately for USA, that's on the cards. Whether it's good for us or not is something which we have to now start debating. I'll set this debate, but I will talk and dissect this maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday evening or Tuesday, maybe. I mean, or one of the my morning thing, because Wang Yi is coming on Monday to India. So to talk about the border, that will set the tone as to what comes ahead when our Prime Minister goes to uh, Tianjin, that is China, for the SCO meet. Right? The country is united. This is the view Americans have. India has united, and that must be sending shivers to people in shock and anger at Trump's insulting behavior. He can undo the tariffs, but he can't undo the insult. In the beginning of the year, I was also very happy that Trump has come and he's for India. Our prime minister has a great equation, and external affairs minister was there for sharing in. A lot of good things were happening, but this is something completely. It shows Trump's true colors. He can't be trusted. And then he says, when I'm in India, I often urge leaders there to forge closer ties with America, arguing that their destiny lies in a partnership, great partnership between the world's oldest democracy and the largest one. Now I must confess, it will be hard to persuade them to follow this advice. I agree with him. I agree with him. One of the best things that could have happened is the oldest democracy and the largest democracy share hands. That's my belief. That's my belief for a long time. But not at the cost of my country. Not at the cost of an idiot who is prepared to do whatever he wants with us without taking our sensibilities into account. Not with a guy who flips for personal gains and changes national policy with a country like Pakistan. And the same Trump had put out that we've given billions of dollars to Pakistan. What have we got from them except deceit and backstabbing? The same guy goes now into Pakistan. The compulsions of going to Pakistan are there, strategic in nature, but the overriding compulsion has been personal ego and his personal greed to set up his son into the crypto thing or the oil and the minerals. So this is where we stand with USA. We have to understand this. Now, again, let me put this in the historical perspective, because like I said, what happens between Russia and Ukraine is very little consequence to me. Let it happen. That's between NATO, Ukraine, and Russia. What happens with USA and India is important to me. Like I said, till the nuclear tests in '98, we were on the opposite sides of the fence. Okay, and it was in 2000, after the Twin Towers and all that, we realized that India and USA had no choice but to be strategic partners. Bill Clinton came to India and things changed. Followed up with Bush, who put us through the 1, 2, 3 nuclear agreement. Then Obama, and then Trump and Biden. Whole lot of agreements took place. Now this man comes. I mean, there have been ups and downs, some chill factors, some hot factors, but not this. Not the way Ukraine, Op Sindoor have been connected and tariffs have been connected and all that. The thing which we need to understand is Indians, and from an Indian perspective, if there's someone from USA, viewing this, must understand this. At this juncture, USA has made its choice. Whether it's for their president's personal preferences or national preferences, USA has made a choice in what it did. Hereafter, India has a choice. And India has a choice to do things the way it wants to do. We are not interested in, Trump, what he wants to do with Pakistan. Let him do. If that is the case, let him do. We'll handle that. India is strong enough to handle it. I am very clear about that. So, what are the futures of India-US relationship? You see, before I get into this and explain the slide to you, all of you, I must explain that there comes a time in every nation's destiny that it has to make its choices. And the choices a nation makes are based on its circumstances. In 91, India made the choice of opening up and reform and all that because it had no choice. We went and kept our gold in Bank of England because we didn't have reserves. We had to keep gold there. Only then we were enabled to even, be, against our gold, we got foreign currency against which we could import. And we did reforms and everything then went. But the thing at that point of time, I mean, this is important, which all of us as Indians have to understand. Yesterday also I said, in 91, very few of us knew what the government was doing. Very few of us knew why this was happening. Very few of us knew that reforms were happening. We knew some reforms were happening, but they happened before we realized and things went well. Not now. Whatever is happening now, India has changed. India has become the fourth largest economy. In becoming the fourth largest economy, the complete texture of India has changed. The technological texture, the cultural structure, the military structure has changed. Everyone is aware. We are talking of a digital India where awareness is very high. People are aware what Trump has done. People have made a choice that we don't want to be with a Trumpish America. People have made the choice. Will this choice get unwound? It will not get unwound. It will not get unwound for the rest of the Trump tenure. I could see the hurt in our Prime Minister's voice 2-3 times. It's not going to happen so easily. It will not get unwound in the next presidency also. Maybe 8-10 years later, things might, something might happen, and unless something catastrophic happens, then we might get together. But at this point of time, what are our futures? What is the future between India and USA? We are into a very unreliable partnership. The partnership is there. Let's understand. The partnership is there, unreliable. It is going to be transactional. Whether you deal with Trump, USA together or apart, it's going to be transactional. There's no emotion. There's no strategic partnership. It's an unreliable partnership, which is transactional. Pakistan will be the new battleground for us, not China. I'm quoting it. I'm changing our whole story. Pakistan is our new battleground. And in this new battleground, you will have to fight with America, China, and Pakistan. And we'll talk of Pakistan separately. Okay, we'll talk of Pakistan separately. Pakistan post Sindoor is a talk which we have to talk. India US arms deals will reduce, and their influence in our military will reduce. There's no doubt. Earlier, we had LOs posted from India to US military, especially in these South PACOM or Indo PACOM, Pacific Command, and they're here. That's gone. I don't think it will survive. You see, already in a few cases, USA is talking of Asia Pacific. This has come out in a few. Even Pete Hegseth has spoken of Asia Pacific. Elbridge Colby, who is their East Asia or Indo Pacific expert, has spoken of Asia Pacific. So already they have shifted their stance. So why should we not? Let's look at how we can get hold of the Indian Ocean. Tough ask, but we have to do it. The Trump agenda will be all about business, hyphenation between India and Pakistan, and his Nobel Prize. He showed no sentiment towards India, so we should also show no sentiment towards him. We need a deal, let's get it. Our quest for strategic autonomy has grown stronger. We should have no doubts on that. And we should hereafter contend when we deal with USA that the Pakistani lobby is going to grow stronger. And that hangover in USA will continue. So these are the things. So where does it leave us? We're going to have a transactional relationship with USA. And as a bounce, will you go to China? That's the question. China is welcoming us with open arms. But in doing so, we have to understand the reality of China. If you don't understand the reality of China, you'll be sunk. I have no doubt that our establishment or military or external affairs or prime minister understands China. But let me put it my way. Our problems with China as far as the border have not vanished. The Dalai Lama issue is still alive. China-Pakistan collusion is still alive. The Brahmaputra Dam is still alive. Their intrusion into Bangladesh, Myanmar, Afghanistan, and all this is still alive. And they're trying to ensure that India does not progress. That will not go. Even if you have a relationship with them, even if your trade relationship with them increases, you will not find China coming here and investing to improve your system. Let's be very clear. Those chaps are not fools. Okay. So let's look at that. Mr. Wang Yi is going to be here on Monday, 18th, 19th. Okay. That's day after that, Monday, Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday, let me analyze. Or maybe Wednesday morning, depending on how things go. Let's analyze as to what that relationship holds for us. Where should we go? Where should we not go? What are the go and no-go areas? Let's talk then. You have to understand, this is an article which has come up day before yesterday. China is enjoying Trump 2.0. China is absolutely over the moon with whatever Trump is doing. Because he has given China a lifeline. China has realized that Trump is vulnerable. And that is why Wang Yi has said in some forum that Russia can't lose. They will support Russia to the hilt. And if they support Russia to the hilt, Russia will pay them back. So diplomatically, they are on a pig's back. From a trade perspective, if Trump had focused only on China, he would have been a success. But Trump being Trump, he focused on everyone else. China was just left in the, as part of the overall firmament. And China has played to its strengths. Because whether you like it or not, China is a huge economy. And over the past 10 years, they've become the manufacturing hub of the world. And complete manufacturing has shifted to China. And US has hollowed out. And Trump wants to reverse it. It can't be done. It can't be done. But what is interesting in this is just in the past 2, 3 years, the US economy has jumped from being about 24, 25 trillion, depending, into 32 trillion. And the Chinese economy has stagnated. Everyone said the Chinese economy will cross the US economy, and all that is gone. So Chinese economy is stagnating. People say, no, it's still growing at 3, 4%. It's growing, nothing is happening. So the reality of China, one has to understand. What's the reality of China? This came out yesterday, day before. I'll discuss this separately in a thing with China. What does South China Morning Post say? China's economy shows signs of strain as retail sales, industrial output lose momentum. They've just gone, they've just started stagnating. As simple as that. As simple as that. They are in a mess. And we have to understand it. And they can't get out of this mess, notwithstanding whatever Trump is doing. Trump has actually, given them a floor to stand on. To some extent, it's a flimsy floor. Otherwise, China is not in a great shape. And, this is their monthly retail sales. It's dipping. In the first 6 months, they put in a lot of effort to do consumption, retail sales. They pump prime their economy. It's not taken enough. On the other end, it's going the other way around. I saw this by a Chinese. I mean, all the graphs, the explanation is in Chinese. I couldn't get hold of it. But you look at the marks, they're all going down south. They're all going down south. And it says the economic report card of July. This is actually in Mandarin. I've translated it and shown it. Main economic indicators, except for trade data, are all plummeting in China. So that's China for us. So what do we do with China? How do you deal with China? Right? And it's not as if it's going to come out. Look at this, Evergrande. You read this story, it's a horror story. 4 years after Evergrande crash, Chinese families are still stuck in broken houses. Let me give you the story in a nutshell. You know what happened? When Evergrande was forced, look, you have so much loan from everyone. You have to give houses to everyone. So they said, okay, we'll give houses. They give half-finished houses. They said, this is what we have, you take it and go. Now, a normal Chinese guy who's put his entire life earnings for this flat has not got anything else. He has had no choice, because if he didn't take that flat, he would have got nothing. So he's gone and taken that flat. In those flats, this is the story in this article. It says there's no water many places, there's no flushes working, there's no electricity that doesn't work in many houses. There's no repair system. In many places, the flooring is also not there, no tile tiles and all that. It's all rough. And some places, even the wood window frames are not there, they're living. You read such articles, you come to know the truth of where China is suffering. Yeah, I've always maintained China is a two-sided animal. Outside is something else, inside is something else. Inside is deteriorating. Outside it's showing as if it can do everything. It needs outside thing. But so, in a way, it is good for us, because you are now going towards China, or rather I wouldn't say veering towards China. You're trying to normalize relations with China when China is not too strong. If you had tried to normalize your relations with China, say 4 5 years back, when China wanted to speak, you couldn't have. They were not prepared. They were not prepared to talk to you. It was only after they've been kicked and they had to go back last year from Kazan, not from Kazan, from Demchok, after that Kazan meeting, that they could not sustain themselves on the plateau. They had to go back after Op Sindur, where they've been, they have been exposed, where there are problems coming up in Tibet, where because of issues internal, because of internal political problems, because that has not gone away, military problems not gone away. You see their stupid navy where one of their cruisers has gone and hit a patrol boat. They're so incompetent. They're coming. Life is coming full circle for them. So now they want to befriend India, and they want Russia and China will love it if India says okay to RIC. But will India get into RIC? Should India get into the RIC? Is a big question mark. I don't think so. I don't think we should get into any arrangement called RIC with China and Russia. You can get into a transactional relationship, a sub-transactional relationship with China, which is needed. You can get in, you are going to enter into a transactional relationship with USA. So what does it leave you with? You got to carve a new thing for ourselves. India has to carve something new. And that something new will have to be based on Russia, France, maybe Germany, maybe, I don't know, UK, maybe, Israel, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, and our neighborhood. So we are at the cusp of our own history where we have to change. And to that extent, our Prime Minister yesterday has given out a very, very, very clear and absolutely, I think he spelled it out beautifully yesterday. Okay, right. So this is what I had to say. What India will do, how India will go about, what civil military fusion, we'll talk later. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a discussion with Mr. John Helmer from Moscow to get the idea of what's happening in Moscow and what's the view in Moscow. And then I'll put that video out by evening. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to discuss Brazil. Amongst all this, we need to open up something with Brazil. And if something happens in the night, we'll pick this up also and take it forward. And we'll see how this whole story goes from now on. Right? Monday, I'm going to have a webinar with some intellectuals on India-US strategic partnership and the way forward. Tuesday, I'm looking at dissecting Pakistan. Because our strategic envelope has suddenly become multidimensional. And we need to think multidimensional. Multidimensional, multi-domain, multi-alignment. So we have to be right where we are. Well, that's what it is for today. I finished. If you like this video, do press the like button. Join Gunner Shot, subscribe to it, and become members. I'll be very grateful to all of you. And I'll now take some questions. Right. At the outset, I'd like Shrutik, welcome back as a member. I think you were a member earlier, which you gave up for whatever reasons. I'm glad you're back. And I'm again very thankful to many of you who are rejoining me. I'm so grateful to all of you who are rejoining me. And right, and I'll take a few questions. Today morning, I couldn't interact with you. I'll spend some time today with interacting with all of you because today morning, like you say, you heard Sandeep Punitan's channel. This was his first live podcast. I said, "Come join in. We'll do it together." And it was quite interesting. But I couldn't get time to spend with each of you my normal way. Piyush Gupta says, "Sir, your analysis are refreshing. Thanks a lot. Most analysts in the West are relieved there was no deal, as Trump would have ceded most of it." Yeah, any case, even now he's ceded many things. Right. Uh, Trump did say he has to make some phone calls to NATO folks and Zelensky. What can we expect, sir? That he's put out. No, I explained to you in the Truth Social. He's spoken, and people have responded saying, "Look, they're hoping something will come out." Look, there is also a fatigue of this war. No one has the money to spend, except probably Zelensky, who wants to cling on to power. So let us see how it goes. So the thing will unfold and we'll keep in touch with each other. Okay, Akash says, "Good evening. Thanks a lot." Vishwanathan, good evening. Thank you. Yeah. While dealing with USA, Bharat has firmly stated that agriculture and dairy are non-negotiables. During Op Sindoor, we have destroyed US assets in Pakistan. All that is correct. Americans' anger is understandable. It's not. The tariff action is self-defeating and inflicts injury on the American economy in general and people in particular. American action lack logic. Look, whatever they're doing with us doesn't affect their economy, but it affects their strategy, geostrategy. Okay. Americans don't lack logic. They are very clear. It is Trump. And they have explained that to you. Okay. Hemant, Jai Hind, and Jai Bharat, right? And Yogesh with his, comment to like the button, subscribe. Thanks a lot. And Lofi also, good morning, good evening, and greetings. And Ladybird Haru, hello, how are you? Uh, After blocking fertilizers in April, China releases it and reaches India in September after monsoon. How could India let China weaponize even fertilizer also get away? Your thoughts? I bump per crops gone. I don't think so. I don't think it's so. This thing we always have some reserves, so this will make up our reserves. So I don't think this is a issue. And it's not as if that you need crops only. In fact, in the crops is the monsoon season is a sowing season. To sustain it, you need to go further. So I don't think we are completely out of the tune. And if it had been there, it would have come out in some other forums, which it has not come so far. Amitesh says, "Good evening and Jai Hind. Thanks a lot." Uh, Sanjay says, "We should have openly sold arms to Russia during current war with Ukraine." Your thoughts? I don't think we could have. Right? I don't think we could have. Or neither did Russia need it. Because Russia, whatever wanted it took from North Korea, which is safer. And Russia played a good hand. But the way we have supported Russia, politically and economically, is far bigger than just giving arms. If global powers don't want anyone buying Russian oil, they should put a price floor of, say, 150 per barrel. Yeah, that's a thing. We are still under that cap. So that's why the illogic of Trump comes through. It's not everyone is illogical, it's Trump. And Trump, we now know it is very personal. If he's now, after what I've shown, he still imposes any sanctions, secondary sanctions on India, then it is personal. Then you deal with it accordingly. Right? That's the thing. Cows come home, Lata Sundar says, I agree. How China has reacted, China is very happy, right? With this whole story, the way it's developing. That's why I showed you that. The actual reaction from China, we'll get it tomorrow. Tarun, Russia will get territory, USA will get rare earth, construction orders slowly, Klonsky will get money when Ukrainians. We'll see how it goes. We don't jump this, that everyone will get what they want. If everyone will get what they want and they live happily ever after, what won't happen? I don't think this will end in a hurry. Yeah. Yeah, I think Trump and the US needs to pull Russia away from China, whatever the cost may be. I agree with you. Whether USA is prepared to pay the cost for it or not, I don't know. Whether Russia has prepared for it or not, I don't know. Whether China will enable it or not, or allow it or not, no. It's quite complex. Okay. Uh, Trump's middle team, Stephen Witkoff and team screwed it up. Well, that's an opinion. Rohan, good evening. Sir, people are saying Putin won this round and so be it. But do Trump and co deserve some credit? After all, they brought a stubborn Putin himself to the negotiation. Yeah, look, it's not as if uh, Trump is not getting what he wants. Okay. Because Trump has got Europe around, he's got Ukraine around. But the important thing is not what the outcome of this particular event. This is just an event. The larger outcome is, will Russia agree to a peace settlement? Will Ukraine accept that peace settlement? Will Europe be able to live with that peace settlement? Will America be able to craft that peace settlement? That is the issue. But let's see where it goes. Yeah, she's right. Lata is right. This is only the beginning. Why is the media running? It's an optic because it's a high profile summit. A president of USA and president of Russia don't meet every day. And having met, they should have got some tangible outcomes which they didn't. To that extent, both have failed. Yeah. Has Trump's dealing with Putin, Russia basically completely invalidated UN and EU? Will EU finally team up properly with India? I don't think so. I don't think this is going to end so simply. And the EU will have problems with India. We have to start dealing with individual states in Europe. EU will be very cutty with India. Let's be very clear, because Trump will be cutty with India. Trump's cuttiness with India has not yet gone so far. And it will not go also because of crypto and Pakistan. Yeah, India is capable is making its own social media. Do you agree why India is sleeping too much for future technology? Why? Yeah, this is what Dheeraj, even our Prime Minister said so. So let us see. Yeah, Ashok, good morning. Namaskaram. Oh, good evening. Yeah, good evening to you. And I think good morning is right. John Doe also, hi. How are you? Anjali Martins also, hi from Connecticut. Thanks a lot. Let me see any questions. Arun says, do you see India being less important in the US foreign policy? Is it trying to create a market of equals with Middle East, Europe, China, and the US? Will we see a tired global market? Well, one thing for sure, I don't know whether will India will be less in the US foreign policy. I'm not very sure. I don't think it can be. I think they've lost it. They'll realize it. They will work hard to regain, but it's going to take a long time. But Trump's focus so far has been the Middle East, West Asia, Europe. He's not too bothered about Indo-Pacific also. And I think he might end up with a G2 with China. That's my sinking feeling. So in which case we have to carve a role for ourselves and a sphere for ourselves in which we have to function. That's important. And that is why we need to start thinking differently. Sorry, sir, I don't believe what he says. He's a liar. That's okay, Prakash. We know he's. I'm not saying you believe Trump. I'm also saying don't believe Putin. No politician will ever tell you the truth. Every politician is a liar. So this fellow is no different. Will it be a 15 to 25% on tariff on Indian exports and zero on import from USA? Will it be a stalemate on dairy agriculture? How will we handle? Let's see how it goes. That those talks have to recommence, then we'll come to know. Till then, be patient. We'll answer that. That's a bridge too far at this point of time. Yeah, KDV Prasad, good morning. How are you? Yeah, India, he sanctions India because India has nothing critical to offer. China offers chip critical. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. It is more personal, right? Harshit Pacholi is good evening. Thanks a lot for joining. Right. Is India a mere middleman for oil money to Russia? You can't call it that way, but we are making money out of it. It's a good middleman. In trade, it's good to be middleman also. Okay. Arthur, good evening, Shankar Garu. Thank you, Arthur Garu. Ramaswamy Sundar, he says, one naya paisa is an archaic terminology. India's paisa is probably the 5 rupee coin now, even beggars. That's so fine. That's great. If Russia is giving Su-57 with source code, Sunil, don't. Yesterday also you asked this question. In the morning also you asked this question. Don't be fixated on SUs or TUs and all that. When we come to the A4 structure, we'll talk of this. At this point of time, we neither need the TUs or the SUs. Trump behavior is unambiguously shocking to me. Shocking, it makes no logical sense at all, unless that's part of the deal. Yeah, he's like that. My personal opinion is let USA come into the dairy sector. Indians will shun the products as based on their background. They will run away automatically. Case in point is Tesla launch. Maybe. Maybe you're right. We'll have to see. Okay. PM has acted like a mature logical statement. I agree with you. We don't believe, we know, we study history and live through the effects of US hypocrisy on the ground. I agree with you. Farid Zakaria as a Pakistani wolf putting on a. You don't believe him. I'm not asking you to believe him. I told you, no, I myself don't like what he writes many times or his views. But analyze what he writes. Okay. The sentiment you're listing, whether he writes or someone else writes, someone has expressed an opinion. Take it for what it is. Yeah, Namaskaram, Jayant. How are you? All fine, I hope. And I see, yeah. Parag Jagtap, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. So nice of you. Okay. Why not lobby Park in DC philosophical? करने दो यार उसको. Yeah, Vivek, I agree with you. New situation for India is better to follow its own course. I completely agree with you. Okay. Yeah, I will have to disagree that this is a Trumpian choice. This is very much a uniparty choice, and the people of US on a large scale think this way. That's maybe, but there is also a large part of USA who feels otherwise. Okay, so there would be problems with India on the whole, but largely this choice, this specific thing, what has happened to India is driven by Trump. It's not driven overnight. It's happened over a long period of time. The USA would try to do the same to India. USSR was broken. Ukraine made into anti-Russia to break Russia further with undivided India. Yeah, that's their playbook. So we know what their playbook is, so we know how to handle it. That's the more important part. I see Ukraine, Russia, and India park parallels in USA strategy. A broken India is easier to loot and control. Well, they can't break India, that's gone. Olakun. Olakun wants to develop tactical nuclear missiles in large numbers because of the change existing. We don't need it. Let me honestly tell you, they don't make sense to me. Yeah, Mary Kane says India is too complicated for the common man to understand. Trump taking everyone to the outer limits together, things will not work out. I agree. Yeah, I think it's a very sensible statement you made, Mary. India is so complicated that even Indians and don't understand India. Many of us don't understand our own country. Okay. Why I feel I probably understand a little more than the normal Indian. I'm not saying that I'm the ultimate Indian. Normal Indian is because in the course of my service, I've traveled the length and breadth of our country and met people, participated in their problems, gave solution to their problems, defended them, and seen everything. So one has an understanding. And very complicated. What works in one district won't work in the other district. Okay. Yeah, as per a survey done in Pakistan, 96% of those inbreds believe Pakistan has won the. That's okay. That's part of the deal. Like, don't worry. Yeah, thank you, sir. We will overcome all this. We always do. There's no doubt. Yeah. Some American analysts and even Ukraine are relieved that there was no deal. They were afraid. Yeah, that's fine. We touched this earlier. A speaker in clause was saying how China hasn't been showing any intent to fix the border issues with India. They are not interested. Let's be very clear, because they are virtually sitting on what they wanted, like give or take a little. So they are not interested. I'll talk of the border dynamics. Let if depending on how the talks go and all that, we'll talk of it. Ame Patak. Sir, given US no longer a trusted strategic ally and India-China relations not likely to turn strategic compared to China-Russia, how deep is India strategic relationship? This is a whole day question. This is one whole story which we have to do in depth. I'll do a program on this separately because this is a very important question which you asked, Ame. Thanks for it. I'll do it. Your discussion with Mr. Sandeep was very informative and comprehensive. Thanks a lot, DM. And just pass it on to your friends because I thought, too, it was a very important discussion. And Vivek says, great discussion. Thank you. Okay. Fools are running the SLM and Trump administration. That's okay. Don't get too. Okay. Thanks a lot for this compliment. Excellent as always. Just brilliant. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Jai Hind, sir. If Zelensky does not agree, in that case, does India face income? That's the question. If Zelensky doesn't agree, why should India face? Now India has got everything to say. What are you what nonsense are you talking? And he himself doesn't have a face. Then you have to throw all these figures at him and say, what are you talking? Someone has to tell him. Okay. It will be done, don't worry. But the fundamental thing is the point you touched upon is interesting. Yeah, good evening from Brisbane. My aunt Aussie mate Glenn, who is a veteran too, listens to you too. Thank you so much for educating people. Big fan. Thank you, Psychapian. Get more people from Australia to start listening. It'll be good. When are you bringing John Helmer for his insider's view on Trump Putin's meet? Tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm talking to him in the morning. In the afternoon at about 12:30, we're going to record a session. And then I'll put it out tomorrow evening. Tariffs will reduce job consumption, job cuts, further reduce consumption. All that we'll see. We'll see how we negotiate it. Look, we are going through a tough time. we must accept the fact that we are going through a tough time. So let's stand up to it. As simple as that. Tough people go ahead in tough times. Yeah. Saikat, long time. Do you believe Trump could suspend strategic military partnership ties and segments with India, such as Limoa, Beka, and all? It's not easy. It's not easy. And if they do it, they will pay a price. Not us. They will pay a price. I would like to contribute to the Indian Armed Forces by developing equipment. I'd like to know what the Indian requirements and gaps. Is there any platforms to contribute? Yeah, give me an email. Put an email to me. I'll put you through. Does India has concluded that India cannot replace China in manufacturing and Indian force can't? No, no. I- One thing for sure, we can't replace China for a long time. We can be part of the China plus one. We have to be. Otherwise, they are sunk. Okay, let me see. Yeah, not just Air Force, but Indian Army also opened fire at Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. Pakistan is hiding casualties. Even this 155 casualty is just, yeah, I agree. They have lost, yeah, that's okay. The Pakistan is all liars. Let them lie. We know what it is. Let me see any other question. Sir, in the US, Farid Zakaria is concerned a joker. No one pays attention to him and is look, whether he's a joker or not is not the issue, but the issues he stated is correct. I myself have said that he is someone, who's a leftist whom I don't read too much and don't pay attention. But the fact is, this point is right. Okay, so I think we've done for the day. Thanks a lot to all of you for having joined in and made it a good session. I hope I've covered all of you at least once or twice. Once maybe, twice has become difficult. Otherwise, we'll keep going for another half an hour. Uh, Join me back in the morning. I will talk of India Brazil, like I spoke of India Japan. I'll speak of India Brazil, and I'll cover a few other issues. We'll have it in two parts, and maybe tomorrow come back in the morning and put your questions on today's listing. I'll take over the overflow of questions which are here today, tomorrow, right? So we'll talk of India Brazil and we'll have an extended question answer session, which is a better way of doing things in the morning. A lot of you are ending this live, so you have more questions. Type in. I have no problem. I'm patient. I would like to interact with all of you. With this, thank you. Have a great night wherever you are, or a great morning if you are on the other side of all the oceans. Enjoy yourselves. Jai Hind till tomorrow.